John Makdessi, congratulations on a hard-fought, excellent grind of a victory against Ignacio Bahamondes at the recent UFC Fight Night. You have to be happy, at least with the performance and getting the win there.
Of course, I mean, being in this type of game for so long, being victorious is always a great thing.
Definitely, definitely. And for those unaware, you ended up breaking your foot in the first round of that fight. Can you explain where it was exactly in that first round, if if you were able to tell where it was broken and how you had to like adjust your game and work around pretty much the broken foot over the next two rounds?
Yeah, exactly. So in the beginning of the fight, I just felt something was wrong on my right foot while I was weight distributing when I was shifting my weight, and I replayed the fight after the fight. I watched my fight. I guess I kicked him on his elbow. I kicked him somewhere hard surface, of course, and right away, first round, I felt something was wrong and I had to adjust. That's why I really played it like a very boxing oriented. Couldn't throw kicks too much, but yeah, I was very fortunate to be able to surpass that little hurdle.
Definitely. And you were able to hurt him pretty well, like in the opening. Now, obviously, he was a much younger fighter, had a definite like the reach advantage, the height advantage, but you were tagging him pretty well. You were tagging pretty well in the opening round. You were able to get inside. You were able to block a lot of his shots.
Yeah, I mean that was a game plan. My goal was to show a different side of me, the more aggressive. I connected with good bunch of guys here in Phoenix, Arizona. A lot of Mexican style boxing. Um, I know that he had a lot to prove. I had a lot of pressure leading up to this fight. 1 year layoff from an ACL surgery. So I knew he had a lot to prove. It was his first official fight in the UFC. So I had to really, when it came to his height, the distance, I had to close the distance. And my strategy was to take shots, let him get comfortable so I can give him back an exchange. And I was waiting for the exchange. And that's why it worked out to my favor.
Now, Ignacio actually ended up missing weight for this fight, and this is actually the first time, at least in your UFC career, if not your whole MMA career, that you were fighting somebody who missed weight. What are your thoughts on Ignacio missing weight for the fight?
Well, I mean, it's a double-edged sword. Good, the positive, the flip side of it. First time someone misses weight, obviously you get a 20%. They get penalized. They get a fee. They lose some money. But I wish I fought a veteran because I would have made more money. But because of he's a beginner, so his purse wasn't that much. But I heard that he was a 170 in his past fights. I wasn't really sure. I don't like to spend too much time on my opponent because then that takes. If I'm gonna focus on my opponent, that doesn't make any sense because I don't like to focus on things that I can't control. So I like to focus on myself, focus on what I can control. So I know he was a bigger guy, so I prepared myself for guys. I was training with guys who were relatively welterweight, even middleweights in the gym. So I was ready for his size. I was ready for that type of fight.
And it was a widely praised performance across the board for you, across the MMA community, and a widely praised performance for him. It was an excellent fight. Did you guys actually run into each other backstage after the fight, and did you guys exchange any words?
I mean, after the fight, I raised his hand. I said, "You're a young kid. Keep up your head up. Good work." I was very impressed by his composure. When I got him hurt in the first round, he clinched me. He hold on to me. He was getting. He was. I saw very conscious, very aware. I saw him watching his corner, listening to his cornerman. He was very observant, and I take my hats off him for a young. He's a new. He's the next generation. He's gonna be a. He's a world class fighter. I take my hats off him. I said to him, head up. He was very disappointed. I mean, no one likes to suffer a loss. As an athlete, we all want to be undefeated. We all want to be. That's the sacrifice. That's the risk we take as a professional athlete. At the backstage, I saw him. I approached him. I told him, "Good fight. Keep your head. You're still young." So again, I mean, I know the game. I've been around the block. I had my ups and downs, and we're martial artists and also we're entertainers. So I knew that I had to entertain the crowd. So I had to make it a little bit violent.
And Ignacio, like you said, very young. Actually, I think the commentary's team said he was the 10th youngest fighter in the UFC currently. So definitely a bright future for him, I'd say. And definitely from a veteran talent like you, that's got to mean a lot for him. Speaking of the veteran versus the young kind of matchup, you went into this fight as a major underdog, despite the fact that you are the veteran. I guess because of the age difference, because of the height and weight different, the height difference and the reach difference. Did that provide a little more fuel a little more fuel to the fire and trying to get a win in this one?
100%. Of course, I had to father him. So, you know, if my kid is gonna try to dominate me, then you look at parents, look at today's parents. If I had a kid, there was no way I would never let my kid try to dominate me. It doesn't make any sense. So, I had to teach him a lesson. And he had to, and that I had to father him. So that was my mindset going into this fight. I had pressure from the UFC organization. I had pressure from all angles. So there was many obstacles that I had to overcome. But I wasn't gonna play defense in this fight. Everyone knows me as a defensive fighter. Everyone knows me as you know I don't really take damage, and this was from my all of my career. I took the most damage, just to the point.
And actually, going since you mentioned the damage, going to back to the broken foot, do you have like an early prognosis of like how long you're going to be out for, how long recovery is going to take?
Well, the way my foot is misplaced, the bone is misplaced by throwing the kick. So they're gonna get operated to get it fixed. Doctors are always gonna make it sound worse in the sense of recovery time, but I'm taking it day by day. So the surgery is gonna be done very quick. My mindset. I'm very mentally tough, so I don't really focus on the healing. My body's gonna heal. I've been fighting injuries my whole life. That's what makes a fighter. I went into the fight with injury, so like that's the thing. Shoulder, knee pain. You never go into a fight 100%. There's no fighter. I don't think any fighter goes in there 100% like without injuries.
So now let's talk about the end of the fight. Obviously, a great performance from you. Although the judges, one of them saw it as a 29-28 against you. What do you think of that scorecard? And especially also just the amount of like, I guess controversy would be the word about judging in MMA, because it seems like it's become a weekly thing where it's like, okay, what ref mess up is going to happen this week, or what judge scorecard is going to throw us all out of our minds this week?
Well, the MMA fanatics out there that know my career, that follow my career, I got robbed many times already in the past. Close decisions. So because the thing is, again, it's easier said than done. When the other guy is ready for you, he's trained for you. It's very hard to knock the guy out. Of course, every fighter love to go in there and get a KO because I don't want to leave it up to the judges. Like Dana White always says, don't leave it up to the judges. Most judges are not educated. In boxing is the only sport in combat where you can win a round without even throwing one punch because they appreciate the art of hit and not get hit, counter movement, defense. But all is one guy throwing shots. They don't see, whereas I'm being patient and I'm picking my shots. They just see, well, he's just throwing, he's being aggressive, and the other guy is not throwing, so he must be getting the round. They don't look at it like, oh, but the other guy is purposely not throwing shots because he wants him to deflect the shots. A lot of shots I deflected, but judges, they don't understand the art of defense, the art of hit and move, and staying in the pocket. I stayed in the pocket. I stayed in the crossfire, and I made him miss. So they don't look at that as an art. So unfortunately, judges are a little bit. I don't know what fight he's watching, but I clearly dominated the fight. I felt it. I knew it. I dominated the fight. One judge gave me 27-30. So that just shows you that there's three judges in the same arena and they all were watching different things.
So now the fight of night bonus goes out, and it ends up not going to you, Ignacio, but it goes to Sam Alvey and Julian Marquez. Obviously, that's got to leave you a little bit frustrated.
That's my whole life story, disappointments, and it's not the first time that I was supposed to get a bonus of the night. when the spinning back fist in UFC 129 at the Rogers Center.
Hmm.
A couple of times I had good performance, but because he did not, because apparently he missed weight, it was a default, so I could not get the performance apparently. But it is what it is. I mean, I wasn't really focused on that. It is what it is. Bonus of the night, performance of the night. I know that it was a good fight. It was one of the best fights at the card, because for me, a fight of the night is when two guys are exchanging and we were both exchanging. You know that what it means. For me, that's what fight of the night means. When we're both at each other. When one guy dominates, that's not really fight of the night, because that's just one guy dominating. It's not really a fight of the night. It's when two guys go back and forth. He showed heart. He continued, and he stayed with me for 3 rounds.
Now, going to Alvi versus Marquez, did you get a chance to watch that fight, and did you feel it was worthy of a candidate for fight of the night?
I mean, I see. I did watch some fights. I did see some fights. I was in the hospital getting taken care of, getting treated. I understand why they give him, the fight of the night, but like, I also understand that because he missed weight, so that was a big factor that he missed weight, and I was shocked that he missed weight because it was like a point 0.7, a point 0.6, and they gave him an option to go back, and he didn't want, and that for me was his defeat. Once I knew that he did not want to go for the weight cut, I knew that he was defeated.
So now, as a veteran UFC talent like yourself, I'm kind of curious about what your feelings are on a certain hot topic going on in the MMA world right now, and especially in your division, because we've got Dustin Connor, the whole trilogy, and now this whole blow up over the charity, and Connor saying he's not going to fight Dustin. Just as a talent like yourself, what are your thoughts on what's going on here?
I mean, UFC is turning into, a circus, like in the sense of it's a circus, entertainment, right? It's entertainment. It's pretty much power trip, egoist. It's a little bit of it's a combination of things. You know what I mean? You're adding a little bit of power trip. You're adding a little bit of who's the boss. It's a pissing contest. You know what I mean? It's all about. This is the game. This is the entertainment business. You know what I mean? It's anything can happen at any moment. You're dealing with human beings. Like at the end of the day, as much as we're treated like robots, but we're also human. So humans are very unpredictable. The history of humankind. You know what I mean? So I'm not really surprised. It's a bunch of it's a joke. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's all entertainment, and it's all about hyping. It's all about hype.
And speaking of hype, a lot of hype around the UFC Lightweight Championship. Obviously, that's going to be on the line now that Khabib is out of the picture. It's going to be Michael Chandler, Charles Oliveira, UFC 262. What are your thoughts and your early predictions on that fight?
That's a great fight. Both guys are on a great momentum. Both guys have a lot of experience. They have a good team. That's when it's going to be a good fight in a sense of of a matchup. Because they're both exciting. And Oliveira is showing his striking ability. And not just a grappler. So that's amazing. And that's why mixed martial arts, in my opinion, is the best sport in the world.
And one last thing from me, John. Obviously, you're going to be healing up. You're going to be undergoing all the treatment for your broken foot. But after that, what's next for you in the octagon? Is there anybody in particular you still want to face?
Right now, I mean, I always love to get my rematches, for my defeats, Alando Veneta rematch, Donald Cerrone rematch, even that kid, Nasrat keeps calling me out. I was supposed to fight him. He pulled out, some people, sometimes you get too much shots to the head. You kind of forget, people talk a lot, but I'm gonna, focus on my brand, Bullwear. Please, whoever's watching, go represent. You can go on my social media, johnmakdessi.com. On Instagram, you see my Bullwear ink. I'm working on my own brand. It's very good quality. Just healing up, getting, and then taking it day by day, and talking to my manager and talking to the UFC and see what's next. At the end of the day, I never picked and choose my opponents. My whole fighting career, I never picked and choose. I let as a fighter, my job is to fight the best. I would love to fight. I would challenge myself, and try to get a top 10, top 15, top 20 fighter.
John, thanks so much for your time, man.
Thank you.